planet Dolan.
From lying about their age to presenting a ring pop, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the worst way a lover ever proposed. I'm Melissa, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Miss Irene Adler. When Gooby was 16, she worked part-time in a call center with a guy in his early 20s. Many of her female colleagues acted like he was disgusting, and she felt sorry for him, so she chatted with him. One day, they finished early, and Gooby's friend suggested that the four of them go for lunch, bad teeth dude included. Off they went, but on the way, the other two made excuses and went away giggling, leaving Gooby and bad tooth guy alone. She was immediately super uncomfortable, and it got worse as he explained that he'd planned it all to get some alone time with her. After getting coffee, Gooby said she had to go catch her bus home. He offered to walk with her, and on the way, stopped and said that they were right beside his house if she would like to see his cat. She agreed, and they went up to his apartment and saw a little black and white cat. She bent over to pet it, and heard a click behind her. He had locked the door. He told her that he would drive her home instead, then led her to the sofa where he insisted she sit and watch a children's cartoon. At this point, Gooby was petrified. Halfway through the film, he put his arm around her and got real close. He whispered,
"I'm not really 22, Gooby. I'm actually 30, and I know you're only 16, but I think we can really make this work long term. Plus, my cat likes you, so will you marry me? I'm a catch."
She told him that she needed to think about it, then asked if she could use the toilet. She ran the fuck out of there and called her dad. He quit his job the next day and she never saw him again. Number 9 was submitted by Chubby Mangle. One time when he was 12, a girl, Pandora, was sitting next to Hellbent and started acting really weird. She took his papers and drew hearts on them while he wasn't looking, and would always hold his hand. During the day, they were learning about fractions and, out of nowhere, she yelled to him, "I love you, Hellbent!" It was the most awkward and embarrassing day of his life. Shortly after, they started dating. And they still are. Number 8 was submitted by Dead Girl 666. When Shima was 19, she dated this guy who wanted to ask her to marry him, but instead, he had their gay best friend do it for him. Now, she laughs about it. He later became her ex after he cheated on her. Another time, when Shima was 20, she dated an 18-year-old. They went to Taco Bell, where he threw a hot sauce packet at her that said, "Marry me?" on it. She just shook her head and told him it wasn't what she had pictured. He made up for it by getting her a ring, although he's now an ex too. Number 7 was submitted by Baby Girl Senpai. When Andy Mations turned 19, she celebrated it with her boyfriend, Adam, who she currently lives with. As they were going into the restaurant, he was acting strange. He was shaking nervously and sweating a lot. Plus, when he spoke, he stuttered. It was weird because he never did those kind of things before. As the night was coming to an end, he stood up suddenly and walked over to Andy's side of the table, kneeling down and taking out a box. He was about to pop the question when he froze and threw up on her dress. She said no because they were still young. They spent the night at the hospital because he ended up with food poisoning. Number 6 was submitted by Reddit Gal 101. Doopy was spending the night at her boyfriend's house. He was gonna give her a promise ring, but didn't have the money. So, he asked her for the money, and got it. She was using the bathroom, but her boyfriend thought that she was putting on lip gloss. He burst into the bathroom with the ring and yelled,
Marry me!
Doopy screamed, and he yelled, dropping the ring in the sink. He was sorry, and Doopy was okay with it. They didn't talk to each other the whole day. They watched Rick and Morty, and at the end, Doopy started laughing and said, "What's wrong with you?" while chuckling. Number 5 was submitted by Kitten Nerd. Ladybot was at her friend's house having a party. She grabbed a rare steak when it came time for dinner, and her boyfriend came up to her and asked her if they could share it. Ladybot agreed, and when she took a bite of the steak, he put a ring on it. The ring was in the side of her cheek, and as she was about to swallow, he said, babe, look at your meat." Ladybot didn't care, and she swallowed, choking on the ring. She was really upset, but forgave him, and everything turned out great. Number 4 was submitted by Neko13. Robo had been dating her long-distance lover for almost 2 years and had never met him in person. One day, she went to go see him during the week that she was visiting her father. It was a 3-hour train ride from where her father lived, and her lover lived. So Robo and her lover went to a large park where he had her sit on a bench. Her lover got down on both knees, looked her in the eyes, and said nothing for a bit before flipping her the bird. Robo was so shocked and embarrassed that she didn't even notice the engagement ring on his middle finger. It was not until after a very long, angry rant and him laughing that she noticed it. They're still married to this day. Number 3 was submitted by PoppyPop123. When Sacred Snoopy was 13, there was this guy that she liked who invited her to go out. On the day of the date, he picked her up and they went to a really nice restaurant. They were having a great time, just as 2 friends. But near the end of the night, he knelt down and pulled out a little ring, asking her to be his girlfriend. She stood up from the seat, and as he was still kneeling, a lady walked past Sacred Snoopy and hit her hard, knocking her forward and sending her knee straight into the guy's nuts. They both fell on top of each other, and he reached up to try to grab the table, but pulled down the cloth and everything fell on top of them. They were covered in their sodas, spaghetti, garlic bread, and butter. Covered in drinks and food, he put the ring on her finger, and they went back to his house to hang out. His friends ended up coming, so all 5 boys sat on the couch playing video games while Sacred Snoopy sat on a different chair all alone, doing nothing. She told her boyfriend that she was gonna leave because she was tired. Turning to go to the door, she stepped in a pile of dog's pee that was on the floor. It was a pretty horrible night, and her parents couldn't pick her up, so she had to walk 6 blocks in heels. On the way back, she stepped in dog poop. Number 2 was submitted by King666. Sid was 22 when he was dating this girl. She was really nice, but also really strange at times. On Thanksgiving, Sid and a bunch of family friends got together. While they all gathered at the table to eat, she looked rather uncomfortable. Sid asked,
"What's wrong?"
She just assured him that everything was fine. Well, when she went to go get the turkey, she came back with it, got on one knee, very rushed, and asked him to marry her. But it turned out that she literally broke her knee. She dropped the turkey and started crying. Sid didn't know exactly what was going on with her, but they literally dropped all communication after that day. And for number 1, I'm going to tell you about the worst way a lover has ever proposed to me. In grade 7, Pokemon was still a thing for me. There was a guy named Ryan who was a little on the weird side, let's say. He was a bit of a misfit, and because I felt bad for him, I tried to talk to him, make him feel welcome. And then one day, he brought me a stuffed Pikachu. I thought it was a cute gesture, because who doesn't love Pokemon? But then, he told me that I had to cut it open to see what was inside. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when you're in grade 7 and you get a cute little stuffed animal, cutting it open and severing its head is not necessarily something you want to do. Anyway, he told me that I needed to do it, and then when I refused, he decided to cut it open himself. He pulls out a scissors from his pocket, takes it out, and out drops a ring pop. He picks it up from the ground and holds it in his hand, looks me in the eyes, and asks me to be his girlfriend. Of course I said hell no! How could you just kill Pikachu? You evil person, and I walked away, as I should have. Huge thanks for all the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What's the dumbest question you've been asked at work? Let us know on the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. See you guys next time!
Brother came in and called the police. The police took the guy, but before he was arrested, he gave her a Twinkie. The wrapper was stapled closed. Honeybits hesitated, but decided to open it. It had his blood mixed into the